Alright, what's up guys? So today I want to talk about this book I just finished reading called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Now this book was published in 2011, but it was one of the better self-development books that I had read this year. Now, I'm not going to go over the book in its entirety and give like a summary, but I did want to share the main ideas and concepts that I gained from the book that were the most beneficial and impactful for my life. Now, what the 10x rule is, it's that in order to become super successful, you need to set goals that are 10 times greater than normal. Then in order to achieve those goals, you need to put in 10 times the amount of effort. Because the problem that most people face is that they set goals that are just too small and too average. So they always end up taking average action and receive average results. This is very similar to one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's speeches where he emphasized this idea of thinking big. He was like, think big, set big goals, do big things, and you will get big results. Which all sound great in theory, but Grant's book gives you a more detailed plan on how to execute this and actually pull it off. If you set 10x goals, then put in 10x effort, then ultimately you will achieve 10x results. So like I said earlier, this is not going to be a full book review. Whenever I'm reading a book, I always search for the key idea or the ingredient that the author is trying to convey. I'm looking for new ideas, new mindsets, new strategies that I can apply to my everyday life in order to create a better future for myself. Because I always seem to struggle when it comes to absorbing the entirety of a book. I can never seem to remember everything that I just read, and I end up just getting overwhelmed. So instead, my goal with self-education is to find new concepts that intrigue me, extract them, and then take a moment to think deeply about them, and then find ways for application. This is how I generally approach reading books and listening to audiobooks. The ideas I found helpful. Okay, so let's talk about some of the main concepts that I found the most interesting. Now, to put this into perspective, I was trying to figure out what my 10x goals would look like. Originally, for this YouTube channel, I had hoped to gain like 100,000 subscribers one day and get that elusive silver YouTube plaque that so many other successful creators show in their videos. And for whatever reason, that's a goal that a lot of us have. Or maybe it's a fact that the number 100,000 looks like an achievement in itself. But then I stopped and I asked myself, why set the bar at only 100,000? Why stop there? If I truly want to be the most successful that I can on this platform and become the best possible creator I can, why not 1 million subscribers? That is what my 10x goal should be. Now, I know what you may be thinking and that this whole thing sounds kind of stupid, because at the moment I barely have over 1,000 subscribers, and my mind is just putting all these clouds of doubt in my head that I should be aiming for something more realistic. But this is exactly what Grant talks about in his book. You need to create these unrealistic goals that appear so monumental and just out of reach that achieving them would feel like a dream. But if you can combine 10x goals with 10x action, now we have a plan to make that dream a possibility. Creating goals with the 10x mindset is a lot easier than putting in the 10x work. But what really resonated with me from this book was that Grant talked about how people are really bad at estimating how much work is required to obtain a certain goal. Now, say for example, think about the last time you wanted to get in shape, or how much work it took for you to finish college. It almost always costs way more money, time, energy, and effort than you had originally planned for. And this is precisely why you need to set larger goals that will make you uncomfortable. Chances are not everybody is going to achieve what they want to achieve in life, and the majority of people are going to fall short. Using my subscriber goal as an example, picture these two scenarios. The first being I continue to operate my channel as normal with my 100,000 subscriber goal in mind, and I output the same amount of effort. Now for the second, I create a 10x goal of 1 million subscribers and I put in 10x the amount of work. Now, say for example, I failed to reach my goal in both of these scenarios. Which one do you think will have a better outcome? Even if I were to fail in both, falling short on 1 million will yield much better results than falling short on 100,000. This is a strategy that Grant is preaching and ultimately is banking on, that even in failure, you can still become part of the super successful. Average is a failing formula. This was the title of chapter 8 in the book, and this was really eye-opening for me. This idea of being average or part of the middle class is generally celebrated by society, where you are a net positive to a company, you contribute to society, but inevitably you will just become another cog in the wheel, which isn't always a bad thing, if that's what you want from life. But if you are like me, and you are someone who wants to achieve at the highest level and get the most out of life possible, then there is no way that settling for an average life will ever get you there. Because people almost always overestimate how well things will turn out in the future and underestimate how much energy and effort it will take to make things right. And there was a section in this chapter that kind of got to me. It was something along the lines of, more and more people nowadays are outliving their savings. And this was kind of heavy, and it sort of made me really sad, because what if you have a grandparent or a parent or someone you love that overestimated their retirement fund and now they may need help? But you spent your whole life working an average job with an average income with average savings, and you just can't afford to give any financial assistance to the person you love. That would just make me feel horrible. And this is the mistake that Grant argues for people who are in the middle class, where people are compelled to think that making just enough is the reward for living a safe and comfortable life, instead of striving for a life of abundance. Now, this is a point where most people get offended and attack the super successful and highly motivated people. You'll begin to hear things like, "That's easy for you to say," or "He got lucky," "I didn't get that opportunity," "That's not fair," "I don't have any time." Like, on and on and on, you will hear these type of excuses from people. And this was another part of the book I found to be very insightful. This idea that if you dream too big and work too hard, you will eventually get naysayers and haters who will try to drag you down to their level and try to convince you that you're aiming too high and that you will more than likely fail, which is completely normal and to be expected. But Grant had this interesting way of viewing haters as good for the business, because if you stop and think about it, what is really going on? The haters are thinking about you. They are talking about you. They have your business, your dreams, and your goals on their mind, which in the end just gets you more exposure. So take the haters in stride and just destroy their criticism with massive success. Dealing with fear. There was this one section of the book which talked about how to deal with fear, and I felt like this part could be used by anyone in any stage of life, because fear is something we all go through no matter where you are in the world. And the biggest takeaway here for me was that fear uses time as a resource to grow. The longer you wait to overcome your fears, the bigger and more difficult they will become. And if you're ever in a position where you feel lost in your journey, or you just feel lost in life, then one of the best decisions you can make is to confront your fears. Do the thing that makes you the most uncomfortable. Don't think about it, don't second guess yourself. Just go out there and be courageous. If you have to pick up the phone, pick up the phone. If you have to join the exercise class, talk to your boss, like whatever that thing is, immediate action is what destroys fear. You will always encounter some kind of fear if you're setting 10x goals and taking 10x action, because you will be constantly challenging yourself. You'll be putting yourself out there, trying new things, and taking massive amounts of action that other people aren't willing to do. And you'll know this because fear is a great indicator that you're on the right path to success. Just don't make the mistake of backing down when it does show up in your life. Final thoughts. Overall, as a whole, I enjoyed both the book and the audiobook version of the 10x Rule. I highly recommend the audiobook version as it is read by Grant himself, and you can really hear the passion and enthusiasm in his voice. I always prefer audiobooks that are narrated by the author instead of someone like a professional speaker. I don't know, it just feels more authentic to me. And another good thing about the audiobook is that you can find it on Spotify. Just search for the 10x Rule by Grant Cardone and it should pop up, and it's around 7 hours or so. One of the benefits that the hardcover book and the ebook have is that it's easy to refer back to the Q&A exercises at the end of each chapter. This is a little difficult to do on the audiobook because it's not broken up into chapters. The version that I listened to on Spotify was just this like one giant audio file. So I had to take a screenshot of the time where they read the questions so I could go back to them and answer them later. Another thing that I loved about this book was that the vocabulary was very simple and straightforward. There weren't any overcomplicated words that I had to go look up in the dictionary. I always find it super annoying when authors or publishers, they sort of just go out of their way to make things more sophisticated than they really are. I value simplicity and ideas that just get straight to the point. Now, if I had to recommend this book to a certain group of people, it would be anyone interested in sales, starting a business, or anyone that wants to just escape the middle class. If you fall into one of these three groups, definitely pick up this book, as there are some great ideas that can make a huge impact on your life. And even for myself as a content creator, I found a lot of the lessons on goal setting and work ethic to be helpful when it came to my overall mindset and productivity. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found some of the information valuable. I was thinking of maybe doing a video like this once a month or so. I always talk about these habits and ideas that have made a positive impact on my life, but I never really share where I get them from, because a lot of these concepts come from, self-development books just like this, and also podcasts and audiobooks as well. So let me know what you guys think, as I do have huge 10x goals planned for the future of this channel, followed up with 10x action. So I do want to incorporate some of these ideas that I've learned from this book. So my plan is I'm going to be trying a new experimental posting schedule where I'm going to release a video every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to stay notified for when I do post a new video, just hit the bell notification button below. And as always, thanks for watching.